This is biolayer interferometry or BLI technology that can detect antigen and antibody with one drop of blood. It has been patented by CCMB.
This is a first of its kind that was developed at the COVID times, and they did a lot of samples, more than 5,000 samples or so. They actually validated that particular technology.
CCMB was the only organization with access and permission to COVID testing. It also controlled validation of testing kits, personal protective equipment or PPEs, medical and sterilization devices, etc. Even the sequencing of coronavirus was done here. Many scientists and students have volunteered to do the testing and validation and aided AIC-CCMB and their startups to access samples. AIC-CCMB validates COVID-19 testing kits in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research, that is ICMR Labs, under the leadership of CEO and consultant scientist Dr. N. Madhusudan Rao.
Many other companies also kind of engaging with us to mentor our startups, and also they would like to take our startups technologies to scale up. So that is one advantage. And for example, small Eurofins is one kind of sequencing company. So they actually take these samples from the startup, they put a box here so that they can actually simply collect the samples from here. So this kind of ease of access and ease of sampling is possible in CCMB.
They have a full-fledged cell culture facility with microscopy support. Mammalian cell culture and other aligned technologies can be accessed here.
2-3 startups, they are working in the stem cell based area and stem cell based technologies, and also CAR T cell therapies. So these kind of facilities that we have, so that they can actually develop their MVPs or proof of concept by about 18 months to 24 months.
Whenever we had a problem, we can discuss with the other startups, and sometime I had a problem with the PCR, then I discussed with some people from the other startup, and it has been solved very quickly without wasting time.
In the next 5 years, the aim is to expand the intellectual space by adding more activities and facing head-on all the challenges in shifting from traditional incubation to modern incubation center. Diverse high-end equipment like phase dyeing machines, high-performance liquid chromatography or HPLC machines, and fast protein liquid chromatography or FPLC machines, Tech-in-Pay traders, Sony craters and other premium equipment are housed here, easily accessible by the startups. Right from the use of conference rooms to the use of liquid nitrogen and milli-Q waters, everything is at their fingertips. Some startups that only need certain limited equipment are encouraged to work remotely to reduce their costs. They are advised to identify the apparatus they require and use them at a subsidized rate.
It's not only the startups what we see here who
Yes.
are based here and working.
Right.
There are a lot of other startups who are associated with you,
Yes.
working from maybe their office or home.
Yes, we do partnership programs.
Right.
For example, Telangana government, RICH is there. RICH acceleration in diagnostics, the AID program. One cohort we completed, second cohort. So that program or any other partnerships, we actually tell them, okay, why can't you come and use this?
Right.
Or use our mentors,
Right.
use our scientific advisory.
Right.
So Dr. Madhu, for example, is fantastic having his experience at CCMB. He worked more than 30 years till now. And that experience, he kind of bridging lot of such kind of platforms for the startups to engage with CCMB. So that is one greatest advantage that we have here.
Right.
Any of the startups, they can actually come, most welcome. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir, for inviting us here.
Yes.
And giving us the opportunity to see all the setup you have established for the startups.
Yes.
And all the equipments that they can come and use.
Yes, thank you so much, and it's our pleasure to be covered by MyStartup TV, because that is the only channel that we can actually access for our startups, for all the stakeholders in India. I must appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for this event, which is a roadshow of our program that we are doing with Bacteria. I'll quickly introduce IIIT Hyderabad and then CI, the incubator. And as we proceed in the discussion, we will have Bacteria team introduce about the program. So IIIT Hyderabad was established in 1998. It's a research tech institution and offering undergrad and postgraduate program as part of the innovation initiative that the institute was planning around. We back in 2008 we started the incubator, thinking that what if some of these students they choose the entrepreneurship path instead of joining some organization. With that with that we started this incubator. And initially there was some low interest, but gradually it grew. So by 2012 we had some 65 startups, and post the bifurcation of the state back in 2014, when Telangana and Andhra happened, the minister visited us and said that why are we not taking any more startups? So we were running out of space, we were running out of bandwidth. So that's when the idea was T-Hub was mooted, and T-Hub also came to the same campus. So IIIT Hyderabad, Indian School of Business, NALSA, Government of Telangana, all these entities came together and set up T-Hub. And most of T-Hub is now the current T-Hub is one of the largest incubators in the globe. So post that, our focus came to seeding early stage deep tech startups. So we started investing we were doing investments earlier also in startups through bunch of schemes, but post that we started doing it through a structured accelerator program called Avishkar. So it's a deep tech accelerator program. And we started, as I said, we started investing in startups through accelerator program. And since then, it has been a good journey. Under the umbrella of CI, we have 3 incubators: deep tech, med tech, and social tech. All 3 are supported by various patrons. Niti Aayog supports the social tech, which is called Atal Incubation, and med tech is supported by DBT BIRAC. And after that, and deep tech being the oldest one, which has been supported by MIT, TIDE, DST, and others. So our focus is a lot on research commercialization right now. We're productizing the academic research that is there, and few very interesting startups came out of there. One works into NLP. One came out of an NLP research of Professor Manish, and the other one came out of the computer vision CVIT lab of IIIT on the CV side. So computer science and computer vision has been always the primary focus in the for us to enable startups in those domain, and AI and subdomain of AI, because there are 72 incubators in Hyderabad, so each of them are good in their own way. So IIIT and all of them are very well connected. So the Hyderabad ecosystem is very well connected with each other. So in case some startups are need help from a different incubator, there is always a synergy, to move from one incubator to another, or to joint incubation for them. So that is there. We also run Media Tech Accelerator, and so that's a quick brief. Now I would like Dinesh, are you there? Would you like to chip in something?
Definitely. Thanks, Anubhav. So it was, I must thank Anubhav, Ramesh, and all other fraternity from CI and IIT Hyderabad to be part of this collaboration, right? So we greatly appreciate Anubhav and his team. So to give you a quick overview about Bacteria Edge, the Bacteria Edge is a global IT services company headquartered in US. We have an office in Seattle, Redmond. And in Hyderabad, we have started 4 years back. I was the first employee of Bacteria Edge. from now we have come to almost like 1,500 people, right? And we are a company who are very focused on AI and digital platform transformations, and we call this as our tagline is implementing human-centric intelligent digital platform for our customers. And we have Fortune 500 customers, and we almost work with all the platform customers as well. So I will not take away this thing from Narayana. So he's our country head, and Anubhav, we can give it to Narayana to take it forward.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Anubhav. Thanks a lot for the introduction. We are basically the enablers of digital journey for customers. And we have our own platforms that we actually use for enabling the digital journey. And most of the times, 60 to 70% of the customers' requirements are enabled through our existing platforms. And then we are the ones who would actually do the last mile or the contextualization of the remaining 30 to 40% of the platforms to our customers. Right? That is how we are a little different, as an organization. Just to give a few examples of what are the specific platforms that we enabled for our customers. All right. So just to name few, first project is the drone delivery platform. So this is where we actually deliver, medicines using the drones to one of the logistics providers in the US. So, this is one of the key products or the platforms that were built for one of the logistics providers. And similarly, we have several other platforms. So another platform is trade promotion optimization that we did for one of the CPG organizations, top CPG organizations. And similarly, we also have done the e-commerce platform using AR/VR for one of the global furniture company that you would actually see in the middle of high-tech city if you're from Hyderabad. And then we also did WeChat digital ecosystem in China. And then similarly, a fraud prevention e-commerce solution for one of the top tech companies. And then there are several others. And then we also did computer vision retail platform, building for one of the specialty retailers. And then AI-enabled manufacturing defect detection system. So just to name some of the key, platforms or products that we build for our customers. So how do we do that? Basically, just to give you the context of just double click on that, we broadly have two types of practices that we have in the organization in Factor Edge. One is the data curation and AI enablement team. So this is the team which basically does a lot of AI projects and also gets a lot of data to improve the efficiency of the AI engines. So that's one practice that we have. And the other practice what we have is the product engineering and automation team. So these two teams together build the platforms and enable the platforms for customers. And then we also work very closely with a lot of partners. They can be partner ecosystem or startup system, or they could be technology partners. And that's the reason why we are talking to all of you today, just to see how we can enable some of the partner ecosystem and then take it to some of our existing customers and then see how we can solve that problem. And you can see some of our marquee customer base. And why? What is our why Factor Edge? Right? What is the Factor Edge differentiating factors? Right? We believe we are the right kind of a people. So we have been in the industry for more than 25 years, and most of the leadership team or even the organization, it exists for more than 25 years. Therefore, we are the right people, and we are the right kind of an organization. We are neither too large nor too small. Right? If you're like a lot of large organizations, so therefore the reach to the top management or even to the right kind of people becomes an issue. And then if it's too small, then all the difficulties that arise. We are the right size company, and with about 3,500 employees working across various locations, and we also deploy close to about 700,000 crowdsource global resources for data collection, data annotation, and then data curation. And then our average partnership with our customers is about 8 years. And then we always see the problems from our customers' eyes. So that's the kind of an approach that we take. And that is how we are kind of different as an organization. Just to give you the business verticals that we operate across. So CPG, retail, software ISVs, technology providers, life sciences, logistics, manufacturing, and healthcare, So these are our primary focus while we operate even in the rest of the verticals as well. But these are one of the key focus areas for us. And just as a representative, marquee customers that we have, any of the top 500 customers you take, they would obviously be one of our customers. And then we also have a very strong partner network. We work very close with all the cloud providers, Microsoft, Azure, AWS, and then Google Cloud. And then we also have a very strong relationship on the automation side with the UiPath. And we also have on the experience side, on the content management side, we work very closely with the Sitecore, Acquia, BigCommerce, Adobe, and then we also have strong partnership with the SAP Hybrids. And then just to kind of give you about India Development Center. So we started our operations in India in 2018, while Factor Edge has been existing for 25 years. But in India, we started our operations 2018. We started with just 3 employees, and Dinesh is one of our first employees who joined the organization, and then I came in. And since then, till 2022, we've grown. We are now close to about 1,200 people, and then we are counting still. So we aspire to become a 3,000 to 4,000 people company in India. So therefore, we have a very strong ambitions and then strong pipeline to kind of meet our goals. So why work with us? So we are company which basically enables the intelligent digital platforms for our customers. We provide high touch to our customers, and then we have very strong right sourcing kind of platforms. We have people across the globe working close, some people close to the customers, and some people in India, some in China, some could be in Singapore, Malaysia, and some in Eastern Europe, and then it could be in Europe. So we actually enable the right teams to make sure that we provide the right value for our customers. And then we have pretty much capabilities in around cloud, data, and then the AI side. We have extensive partner network that we enable, and then we also provide a lot of point of views and POCs as well as end-to-end solutions to our customers. Right. So with that, I will hand it over back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Murthy. That was very interesting and amazing, presentation and quick discussion that happened. I mean, me and Dinesh just met over, for 5-10 minutes, and I haven't seen any corporate moving this fast. So we said, we have to do this. Dinesh said we want to work with a bunch of startups. We have been working with IIIT on various technology and other projects, but how about startups? I said, if it's a structured program, we can do it. And the next thing he says, let's do it. I was like, maybe he'll come next day saying that, I just said it. I just said it like that. But next day it was like, okay, what is the scope of work? How are we going ahead with the agreement? I was like, oh, that was super fast. So all kudos to your team. So I'll request Bhumi to quickly play a video of Pactera, and then we will move to the panel discussion. Can you please play the video?
Ask yourself, what could your organization do at its next level? For businesses today, the race to reinvent never stops. To compete and win, organizations must work smarter, aim higher, connect deeper, and always move faster. Success requires an edge. Pactera Edge builds human-centric, intelligent digital platforms that bring lovable customer experiences to life and fuel today's most powerful enterprise applications, platforms that put data at your fingertips, intelligence where it counts, and human experience at the center, where state-of-the-art AI meets human-centered design and engineering muscle propels first-of-their-kind solutions that are instantly lovable and boundlessly powerful. We're building a future where cutting-edge business intelligence changes the way you look at your enterprise, where predictive AI powers amazing experiences for every customer, where AI-infused IT finds anomalies sooner to stop fraud faster, and new connections are made by drone, by voice, and in ways we haven't imagined yet. It's all delivered by our global team, where leading consultants, creatives, engineers, and data scientists deliver a suite of transformative services to ambitious brands across industries. At Pactera Edge, we're creating technology that empowers businesses and customers alike.
Everything we do is driven by our values: exploration, empathy, inclusiveness, collaboration, drive, and trust. Our team is ready to transform yours.
Take the advantage, shape the future. Do it with Pactera Edge.
Thank you, Bhumi. So, Dinesh, now we would like to move to the panel discussion. The panel discussion is focusing on, a bunch of innovative deep tech startup in the area of CV and the solutions that can come across with computer vision is what our idea is, and the focus is around that. How do this, how do we see these solutions which is difficult to source for corporates in their multiple verticals that they are working on. Having said that, keeping that in mind, to understand where the community is going, we had a panel discussion plan to understand what all areas maybe we think that these are a bunch of the things that we are focusing on. What if something more interesting comes out during the suggestions? So our panelist is Mr. Narayan Murthy, who already gave the keynote. Then we have Rajat Agarwal, who is the founder and co-founder and CEO for DreamView, which is a startup that interestingly backed by research of IIIT and has been one of our most promising startups, in the journey. Then we have Preetham, who was earlier heading innovations for AB and Bev. And Surya from Pactera would be moderating the panel. Over to you.
So I'll just give a quick intro to Prabha, and then Prabha can take it over. So Prabha is a very established leader, and she leads our AI and advanced analytics practice. She is with us for over 2 years now. Prior to this, she was heading a startup, right? She herself has got her hands on startup and a very enthusiastic person who loves to do a lot of work around data and AI. She has got an industry experience of over 2 decades, and she worked on multiple projects. Prior to Pactera Edge, she was a kind of a co-founder for a startup by name Nova IQ. And further, it came as an acquisition by us. We acquired Nova IQ. As part of the acquisition, Prabha joined us. Prior to Nova IQ, she was with Nest Digital, leading that solution. Okay, so over to you, Prabha. Thanks.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Anubhav, for the introduction of the panel members. What we have seen, technology has been the active enabler for growth across many industries around the world for more than 4 decades now. Digitization created wealth of data for the enterprises. Data mining and analytics enabled businesses from understanding the consumer patterns, pockets of scope for better optimization, be in vendor selection, improving the employee efficiency, so on and so forth. So with the current day availability of infrastructure maturity, technology fitting in one's palms in the forms of smartphones and smartwatches, AI has stepped out of the research labs drastically in the last 1 decade. Corporate AI investments has grown from $12.75 billion in 2015 to $93.5 billion by 2021. So that's the growth of investment towards AI technology that's happening in the corporate world. Now we are in the age of building systems which can see the way humans can see and interpret multiple things from that vision and comprehend the way humans can do. So today we have the primary Lego blocks of corporate AI adoption, the investors and the innovators in our panel to discuss the opportunities and possibilities with us. So as Anubhav already introduced, Mr. Abhay Tandon, Mr. Preetham Datta, Mr. Rajat Agarwal, and Mr. Narayan Murthy from Pactera Edge. So we will start a discussion with the investors, the primary proponents of technology innovation. So I would like to start. Preetham Datta can also, give us some insights. What are the different business function areas, right? That can leverage from adapting AI especially the computer vision capabilities in different industries, especially where we are focusing on more on retail and manufacturing space. How much is the business value potential, that is being derived by adopting to machine vision technologies? What size of investments the enterprises are ready to put up in these industries? So, Mr. Preetham Datta, if you would like to go first.
Yeah, hi. I think thanks for inviting me to this panel. I think AI, computer vision are gonna be fundamental and are fundamental right now for most of the companies and especially consumer goods companies where it's pretty much kind of helps uh, kind of create significant business value. Um, the biggest use case I see is in retail trade execution, in sales force optimization, sales force route management for consumer goods companies. Because through AI and consumer vision, that the whole routes can be optimized. I would say, more productive salesman visits can be created. The competitor analysis, the SKU analysis can be done better. And for any consumer goods company or retail company, those are some of the key parameters, like which SKUs, which stacks are doing better. Knowing that generates significant business value. And I think in my experience across Unilever, across ABI, Budweiser, I think we have seen a significant interest and investment in these areas, primarily because they are not only seen as differentiators, but they are seen as competitive edge. For example, in one of such examples for Budweiser, we have used consumer vision to create significant market differentiation and direct impact to the sales volume that gets generated. So, adding to what Prabha said, I would suggest that the opportunity is big in sales for consumer goods and retail from a display goods visibility space. And I think as it's just gonna increase on a very regular basis, and we are already seeing a quantum jump in terms of investment that's happening in this space.
Thank you for the insights, Mr. Datta. Mr. Agarwal, would you like to add some points towards this?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. First of all,
Hello.
thanks for inviting me. So, I think there are two main, when we talk about computer vision and AI, right? Particularly from the technology standpoint, there are many technologies now being deployed into the retail sectors to improve the business analytics and business performance, right? To kind of understand how people are reacting to different kind of purchases, how purchases are happening, and how we can improve the computer vision and AI system to that. I think that's the biggest problem, at least the technology community is kind of focusing on at the moment. And obviously, we have infinite number of solutions which we are presenting to different kind of spaces, like producing more different types of sensing devices, uh, producing different kind of software technologies to understand what is really happening based on the data. And then also, there have been many companies deploying robots into the retail stores to kind of do not only just sense the purchases, etc., but also kind of help the uh, buyers, into their journey so that the experience is extremely smooth, when somebody enters the retail store, right? So I think from if we have to speak about computer vision and the AI and the impact of it, I think from end to end, right? When somebody enters the store to, when somebody is leaving the store, right? The end-to-end journey is now being captured by computer vision and AI, and we are the whole industry is kind of going towards providing different kind of solutions from in different directions, right? And I think that trend, we have seen the trend in the last 10 years a lot, right? The number of companies coming up in that kind of space has increased, not just in US, but especially in India now, right? In India, we are seeing these kind of innovative technologies being deployed. I was in one of the store, and we saw one of the robots just going from one location to another location, and that was only seen in the countries like US couple of years back, right? But now we are seeing those kind of things happening in Hyderabad and Bangalore kind of places. At least that's where I saw. So I think this trend is definitely going to be exponentially increased in the next 5 years or 10 years or so. And we have to see how computer vision and AI can help all these things.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Narayana, would you like to share your thoughts?
So these are very good insights. In fact, as a company, we also have been doing computer vision projects. So in fact, one of the products or platforms that we're trying to build, which is again, how to control the shrink for one of our existing customers, right? And if I can take the name, Prabha, it is Lowe's, right? Which you have been part of the project. So this is where we actually use computer vision to determine, what is the shrink that happens at each and every level. And then we are also trying to kind of capture, the customer sentiment analysis as well at the same time, trying to understand which customer base or, which kind of product, people are opting. And then we're also trying to kind of get the seasonality around that. So therefore, so this is going to be an interesting journey. Absolutely, I think this is a way forward for the entire industry.
Just to add a number to the business value that is associated with the shrink protection use case that Narayana has just mentioned, it actually saves about $700 million to the corporate in a year. So that's the kind of value, business value, the computer vision solution that we are building is going to, help them save those costs. Thank you so much, panelists, for sharing the views on the first point. Let me move on to the next thing. Yes, there are multiple opportunities. There are multiple business cases in the enterprises where AI and computer vision can be adapted and can make a difference. Let's come to the servicing part of it. What is the technological challenges, that we are going to face being the solution providers to address these business cases? So innovation is an everyday process, right? The more business value technology offers, more innovation is needed in offering those solutions in terms of speed and efficiency. In the AI language, we use the term accuracy. So it's the question to the panelists primarily from the innovation and the solution providing standpoint, the readiness of the technology to meet the business aspirations of the retail and manufacturing industries, especially in question. And what are the gaps that you see, and what, according to you, are the research areas to focus to bridge these gaps? Primarily on the computer vision technology space, where the challenges are actually sprouted from the leveraging the existing infrastructure. For example, the CCTV cameras, which are placed for surveillance, majority of the enterprises are trying to repurpose them and use them for the computer vision technology. So being in this space, what according to you are the challenges, and where is the need for more research to take place? Mr. Datta, if you would like to go first on that.
I think from an innovation perspective, there is great strides have been made, but I think we are still at the very edge of how we can use AI and computer vision, especially in traditional industries like retail and consumer goods. There is huge possibilities. I just mentioned the sales force part, but if I look at logistics, if I look at supply chain, I think there are multiple use cases which can be explored. The challenge, however, is that most of the traditional retail or CPG companies, like while they've invested in AI, do not have that kind of resources or focus to kind of build the capability that is needed there. And I think that's where companies like yours or other AI based startups, AI based companies come in, because they can provide them best in class solution and knowledge which is required by these companies to win in the market. I think the biggest change what I am seeing in business leader is that AI, from being like what you call a nice to have, is becoming a must have in most of the digital transformations now, and is at the forefront of this change.
Absolutely. Yes. Mr. Agarwal, would you like to add something?
Yeah, sure. So you asked, like, what are the different areas where, or what is the status of the technology readiness at the moment, right? So I think earlier I also spoke that there are different kind of segments where computer vision and AI can help. And as Mr. Datta also mentioned that there are different kind of applications where this can be applied. In terms of readiness, I feel that in terms of AI and machine learning, it's still in the early stages. Although we have done a lot of progress in terms of research and development, but the practical systems are a little far away from being deployed. The major reason being, the obviously the accuracies that we want. We don't want to have, wrong information given to us, because it's just better to deploy a person or an operator to give us that information rather than just a system, right? So let's just consider an example. If I have an empty shelf, it's better for just me to see from here than to just get wrong information from a sensor, and just fulfill that. So I think we, as a whole community, we have to not just keep you know think about that, okay, this is general AI which can be used. Okay. The systems have to be very, very specifically made. Now, I would like you to counter, so the point that you mentioned, Prabha, that people are trying to use the current surveillance cameras and try to make a system so that we can use those surveillance cameras and make a 99% accurate system. Well, based on our research, and I'm the technology guy, I think it's going to be difficult. That ideology itself has a problem, because yes, I understand that you don't want to increase the cost, and you don't want to change the infrastructure to make the systems better, and you want to leverage the current infrastructure. But that's part of the problem. The current surveillance cameras are not that good, where you can put your very accurate AI models and get time and hope for 99% accuracy. Okay. We make at DreamView, we make different kind of cameras every day, and this problem is very, very common to us, that people say that, okay, just give us the software and we have our own camera. We're like, hey, think of this like a human system, right? If you have bad eyes, you're gonna take bad decisions, right? Because you're not gonna see those things properly. So you have to correct your eyes first. You have to go and get the eye surgeries done and get the proper vision, right? So I think having the sensing devices is important. So at least I don't believe that we'll be able to bring the systems with the current infrastructure. Obviously, we have to make the changes, but yes, I understand that we have to make these systems in such a way where these are low cost. It's not like, okay, we are asking these retail companies to put like $10,000 system. Obviously, that's not going to work, right? I can put like army of 100 operators into the warehouse and get that same thing done, right? So obviously, there has to be an ROI which should match. But I think we have to, if you're thinking about highly accurate systems, we have to get away with the thought of not changing the infrastructure, okay? Because I feel that's one gap. And we have to also kind of learn from other kind of industries like logistics and warehouse, that how these guys are deploying machines and robots these days to improve the performance, right?
Yeah.
I would say that if our robotics, the technology is very matured these days, where we can, just buy off-the-shelf robot base and just use it in any of the system.
Right.
Okay, the technology is very, very mature. Even in fact, you can get very, robust robots, which has like a safety rating, etc., in the market, and can deploy into your places, right?
Right.
Um, so we have to think of those kind of innovation programs into these industries, so that obviously every other segment has to contribute something to help us achieve the 99.9% accuracies that we're all aiming for.
Actually, very good point you brought up, Mr. Agarwal. AI has been a victim, for having high expectations, over expectations. AI, for some people, it is like Rajnikant's Robo movie, right, which can do everything, and probably the most accurate way. And we always battle with our false positives, false negatives, and then it's definitely challenging to prove the business value it brings. But I believe there is always a start point. The first step in the door is always first prove the value. Even though you can't do the highest accuracy, but at least you can show what can be done to start the conversation about investing in better hardware, better camera systems. Obviously, computer vision highest accuracy models cannot be built with the surveillance cameras where somebody physically is sitting and watching the monitor. The same thing that you will, and your analogy was perfect, that if you have bad eyes, you can't see it clearly. Similarly, if the camera is not good, the model can't see it clear enough. Thank you so much for that. With that note, let me get to the next point. As we are talking about AI has higher expectations, as I said, victim of higher expectations. AI is also, a scapegoat and blameworthy for creating disparity in the workforce, taking away, automating, and taking away the jobs of the workforce, existing workforce. How, as companies adapting, probably Mr. Datta can give us more insights into this as an enterprise adapting AI. How does the workforce see this? How do you see the change management challenges? Let's say, for example, if I'm replacing my computer vision system, for example, just to do the surveillance, I pay three people in three shifts, 8 hours, one person sitting and observing this, and then I would probably use a computer vision solution there and cut down my workforce to one third or probably one fourth. How is this challenge, and how do you look at this as this technology and the workforce coexisting together and propelling the business growth?
So, a couple of things. I think, it's always the question of positioning. I think, the way it has worked for us is we have always positioned AI as a tool, which is to start with replacing work that we will not like our, say, employees to be doing. For example, automating invoice processing, automating, say, sifting to multiple hundreds and thousands of resumes. For example, when I was in Unilever, we did a program where through AI, we were sifting through close to 1 million resumes to identify the top 100 people who will become part of our graduate leaders. Now, it used to take, it was a very manual process, a lot of people involved, and none of them really used to love the job. So kind of putting that promise of, how AI can help to enrich your life, how can it help do your jobs better is a critical element. Or for example, last year we implemented a AI-based solution to improve our cash flow and order management. Now, prior to that, the call center agents used to take the calls through a routine process. It was very manual. Now, when we use the platform, they were able to get more insights, were able to get more more active in interacting or engaging to the customers. And I think that helps, because the way we position it is that AI is not here to replace your jobs. It's here to enrich
Assist
your
you.
jobs and
Yeah.
help you do better jobs. So I think that positioning, that mindset is there. And yeah, means any new technology would always have a resistance to adoption. We are seeing this in all sectors. It's just about timing and, finding the right middle point.
Absolutely. So AI is primarily your virtual assistant, so that you can spend your job in better productive work, probably which gives you the pleasure of solving better problems. With that, I would like to mention one thing. So as a company, when we have actually built a network route optimization solution using deep reinforcement learning for one of the logistic customers in India. And that's how we placed, okay, there is a network engineering team who does this job, and probably to optimize a complete end-to-end network, they would take about 10 to 15 days, and then they wouldn't be possibly focusing on something else while they're doing their job. So that's where we said AI, we can create a virtual assistant for you that does about 90% of the job for you, and for you to actually give your expert remarks and corrections so that you can take it to your business stakeholders. And that's a wonderful point, Mr. Datta. Thank you for that. Narayana, would you like to add something to that?
No, absolutely. I see the change management becomes a very important factor in some of these engagements. But I would like to cover a few more points which are more on the business side as well, right? See, for example, when I started my career, right, I used to work in a warehouse where my primary focus used to be like the accuracy of the inventory, right? And then people physically used to go and then check those inventories and then come back with all those sheets, and we used to compile that, and then trying to understand, which inventory is moving in which direction, and it used to be like a nightmare. And then subsequently, what happened? We had the systems of record have come into picture, like the ERPs, came into the picture, and then they tried to automate kind of most of the stuff that we have been trying to manually do. But still, there is a lot of gap in terms of how do we improve the the accurate forecasting accuracy? How do we integrate the supply with the demand, right? And then how do we make sure that our supply pattern is actually matching with the demand pattern, so that our inventory turns can be improved drastically, right? So if you try to look at technology as an enabler in this whole space, so in the journey, it actually helped us to improve in that whole journey. If you want to relate that to the number of jobs that are lost, I think we will actually be losing our focus, right? We should need to see, how it enables us to work efficiently, and how does the technology enable us to improve from point A to point B and point B to beyond. I think that is what we should start looking at technology. And as you rightly pointed out, even for the AI to perform accurately, we also need a lot of data. So therefore, the data accuracy becomes an integral part of this whole exercise. So as people say, AI is most of the time free, but the data is expensive, right? Therefore, we also need to spend a lot of time in actually acquiring the lot of data and making sure that we are providing the accurate data, so that improve the efficiencies, and then we actually bring maybe that 99.99%, which Rajat was talking about.
Mr. Agarwal, with your experience, did you also face this kind of challenges? How to maneuver and fit the AI solution without having to disturb the harmony in the workforce, or the change management issues?
Yeah, I think I agree with all the points that Narayana and Preetham mentioned. Um, yes, while there is a concern for that, okay, AI is eating our jobs, but I think it's creating 100 other jobs for us, okay, and which are much better than what our earlier generation used to do and previous generation used to do. And in terms of business, right, if you have to think of it like a business, then we all have backlogs, right? As a business or as a project managers, we all have like a backlog of projects which we are never able to finish, right? So if you have to think in that picture, right, if we can automate some of at least even 30% to 40% of the work, right? I think we can just reduce the backlog. That's how we have to think, okay? And we can achieve more in less time, right? Which everyone wants to do these days. So obviously we can think it from a positive point or a negative point. It's like, okay, whether the glass is half filled or half empty, right? We if we are we as a innovators, we have to always see that, okay, the glass is half filled, right, and not half
Right.
empty. And just see that yes, it can help us with reducing the backlogs. The second thing is, which is more like a human aspect. I think everyone wants to these days, especially, I'm not talking about like last 10 years or 20 years. Even if there are operators, right, they also want to love their job. They also want to have change. They also want to, over a period of time, they are also frustrated with doing the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that provides this ability for the managers and the HRs to kind of come up and change their jobs in some way. Okay. And so that we can have a better work environment for these, for the people. So I think while it does not have the technology impact, it definitely opens up another areas of discussion
Right.
for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely there should be a harmony, and I think it's all the way possible with AI, as I said, being the virtual assistants, save the employee workforce from, doing mundane work and be interested in their jobs much more. With that, I move on to the next thing. And again, I would like to come back to you, Mr. Agarwal, with this question to you. Since we are, we are into building the solutions part, and AI has been bearing the black box reputation, right? Giving rise to various concerns towards, let's say, for example, the data privacy, different types of laws in different parts of the world, compliance requirements, and especially responsible and explainable AI. So what, as the solution providers, are the challenges you think, we face in these areas, and how do we address these, especially in the computer vision solutions, more so on the retail industry, where we probably capture unknown customers' video footage in a retail store, for example. What are the challenges that we face to, maneuver our solutions around these challenges, and how are we going to address that?
Yeah, sure. So I think obviously there are many compliance standards
Yeah.
with respect to different countries and different geographies and different applications. But at least what we have seen in our experience, obviously the GDPR compliance is the most
Yeah.
crucial that people want to have. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we can definitely make and develop systems in such a way that they can be GDPR compliant while having the same accuracies expectation from the AI models, right? For an example, like if you want to have the behavior and the pattern analysis and semantic analysis, as Narayan mentioned, you don't need faces, okay?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's like you have eyes, but you give a little bit of cataract to the eyes, and so
Yeah.
that somehow you can see that, okay, there is a blob, is a moving blob, but you can't recognize that, okay, whether it's Rajat or Narayan and Prabha, right? But okay, some person is there, and that's the behavior. They are picking up this product, that product. So that's why I'm saying that, we have to make these specific systems where, we can have, like in our cameras also, what we do is that, we blur the faces whenever we are processing, and there is no way that we can give you,
Personal
see the
identification to.
personal
Yeah.
identification, and also the video feed is not exactly same as the surveillance feed, right?
Right.
And that's probably the reason that you should not think about using the surveillance cameras, because
Yeah.
the primary purpose of using the surveillance camera is to see who the person is, right?
Yeah.
And where that what that the surveillance is the reason, right? So that's one. Um on the second hand, I think the responsibility, I think it's again, it's a behavioral problem, as a society, right? We want explanations for everything, but we have to see that it's not the human who is giving us these. It's an AI, right? And the
Right.
responsibility cannot be the same, right? Now, well, everyone wants explanation. We all want explanation that okay, why it did that. But I think the systems can be made fail safe in some way, where we
Yeah.
can do, there are different technologies which we use in when we develop an AI system. I don't
Right.
know how many startups have been using those kind of technologies. We'll find out in the pictures. But I think having a nice prediction system so that you can make the systems fail safe is one way to prevent having these responsibility questions on the AI, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know, like in the future how well we'll be able to answer this question of responsibility. I think the question has to have a little bit of it has to be a little bit of softer question than being such a hard question. Otherwise, I think it's a little bit difficult for AI to innovate itself, right? So that's my
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, definitely. And we also take care of the data sets that we use to train our models, try to avoid inherent biases. For example, gender bias or an ethnicity bias, especially in the cases, it should not be if I'm trying to create a system to analyze behavior. It should not primarily say that okay, people of who look a particular way are it is inferring that there is a potential fraudulent activity that's going to happen. So definitely there are multiple layers and levels that we take care of these things, and I just wanted to bring that point that people who build the solutions are pretty much aware how we have to build a responsible AI system, not to cause any imbalances in the society. I would love to have your inputs on this, Mr. Datta, being definitely in the retail space. How sensitive are the organizations towards these aspects when they adapt to the AI solutions, especially in the computer vision aspects?
I think, one of the things, rather than kind of talking about specific, I think most of the organizations are very sensitive about the IP, where the IP lies, what kind of data get generated. I remember, during one of our implementation days, we had actually signed up with a very top AI powered Salesforce and enablement platform, and they were using the data that we generated to aggregate but publish it on newspapers. This many numbers of SKUs have been sold and all. So I think organizations are becoming very, very more sensitive to kind of give their core data, because if I consider like the Salesforce space, this is a very core competitive advantage data. And there was a period pre-cloud when everybody wanted to move to like cloud. Then the came of package software came in, and software as a service. I think more and more organizations are strongly looking at companies which have the right privacy, the right instances where data can be secured and protected, but at the same time have the right rigor, so that we can make sure that we are able to basically not sharing everything, but
Right.
also have the protective layer built around it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with that, I think in the interest of time, we will conclude the panel discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Datta Narayana, Mr. Agarwal, for sharing the insights. And I'm sure it has been a pretty insightful discussion. Each of us had very good takeaways from this. I would like to move on to the next segment that we will have the startups waiting patiently. I believe you had so many things to take away from the discussion. If anybody has any questions to the panel members or to us.
Hi, this question is for the founders, which are part of the panel, Rajat and Rajat specifically. How did you navigate the decision on when to bring on a strategic investor, if at all you should? Because I understand that what you're building has tremendous use cases for the e-commerce space, fast commerce, etc. So how are you looking at that sort of fork in the road?
I don't know how to answer that question, but because we don't have any strategic investor on our board.
You know,
But I think if you're thinking about it, I think it's about the business value that they could add in your business, and I think that should be the only point why you should consider that.
We are a CV company, and we usually get asked from the investors that you don't have an IP on this technology. Now, in a software company, and we already like these algorithms that we are using. Some are of them public, and some of them we have created or modified in our way. How we can apply for the patents? I mean, the people who have already the CV companies in this. How you got patents into this if you don't have a hardware attached to it?
Well, I can take that question. So, I I don't think you can get the patents easily on the software, especially on the AI models. If you are taking the models from the public domain and then tuning it for your data. Uh, but I think the way we and a couple of more startups that we do when we have to show IP is to present the system as an IP that as an application, not just the software where you have an input and the output. Okay, bring a system picture into that and try to apply for a patent into as a system, and then I think it will be easy for you to present what the IP is. There is always, if there is an IP, I think it's about extracting the presentation out of that IP and then showing it to the investors. I know that in software it's a little hard, but there are ways to do it.
Yeah, hi, good evening. This is Chaitanya here. Yeah. So a quick question. I think Mr. Datta had mentioned a few use cases that he's pursuing. I would love to know what are the other use cases that the other panelists are pursuing or you feel that are valuable. That would be interesting. Thank you.
So there are multiple use cases in the retail industry. Few, as Mr. Datta has mentioned, in the space of improving your sales, right? On the other hand, you will have the demand planning. When you actually understand what's your sales forecasting, how do you improve your sales? That actually falls back onto how do you optimize your supply chain, and then that feeds into how much do you have to manufacture, right? So that's the value chain, and these are the scopes. You can actually optimize the if you're into a CPG food products, you can optimize the ingredients in such a way that the quality of your final product is good. You can definitely use AI, computer vision in your manufacturing plants where you will be addressing the workplace safety. You will be addressing the automated quality check. So if you take just one industry, there will be multiple pockets where we can enable efficiency through using AI solutions. Mr. Agarwal, if you'd like to add something?
Yeah, the other two use cases is people flow analysis. Where we say that okay, how many people footfall, how many people are entering the retail store at what time, when, and then understanding different kind of behavior, right? And the more detailed problem is what Narayana also mentioned earlier, that about the sentimental analysis, that how they are reacting. The third one that I can mention is the performance, the ads performance, right? Like if when based on the ads that you're displaying in your store, how it is kind of impacting the behavior, and obviously it's related to some kind of a behavior analytics, but it is tied to how we can change different kind of ads to persuade the consumer to buy what kind of products, etc. And then fourth is definitely robotics, right? In terms of understanding the shelves, and what are the different items on the shelf, what is the status of the inventory, etc. And also the sixth one where it kind of have to serve the consumer itself to reduce the amount of time that they have to spend in the retail store. Right? So there are a couple of these, and obviously there are many of them that you have, like if you think about it, to improve the experience of a consumer in a retail store, which can be there.
Yeah, customer retention, churn analytics, propensity, models that you can actually understand. So there are multiple aspects. Primarily, the business cases comes from how do you improve your revenue? How do you reduce your costs, make your operations efficient? How do you improve customer satisfaction, right? So there are primarily the broad buckets, and then there will be multiple use cases we can think of.
So I have a two-part question. The first part is for Narayan Murthy, and the second one, I guess, it's for you, Prabha. So given that you guys had a fantastic run from 2018 in terms of headcount growth, I wanted to pick Narayana's brain in terms of what did it change for him being that first employee to so leading the country's practice. So that's one, like what kind of challenges or what kind of strategies did he have to employ? And the second part is to you, Prabha, where how did you adapt from startup mindset to a consulting practice leader kind of mindset? Because I think those are two different ways to look at the problem. So I just want to understand your perspectives.
Thank you, Ajna. It's a great question. In fact, I'm not the first employee. In fact, Dinesh was the first employee, the first engineering employee, I would say. I was probably the seventh or the eighth one. If I remember correctly. So yeah, but again, see, when it was a great question. In fact, when I started off, with the company, our objective was very, very different initially. Our objective was just to have kind of a pre-sales office and then support our US business teams in solutionizing and then do some of the R&D activities and things like that. So that's how it started. But then when we started to think, in terms of how do we improve, the offshore presence and then get it more closer to our customer base, right? And then how can we participate closely into business? That is when we actually had to travel to some of our Asia Pacific countries, and Dinesh and I have traveled to several places. And then we talked to our customers, and then we also try to kind of get more and more business into India directly. So that's one thing that we have done. But every step we kind of had a vision, like, this year, this is the approximate headcount that we look at, and then this is how it grow. These are the kind of customers that we serve. So we picked up some of those, and then it was also like while we started India Development Center, it was also like internal competition, right? We had to go and then sell ourselves to our global leaders to say that, hey, why India is important in terms of delivery, right? And then we matured in that whole curve. We started with 5 people, and then slowly we started penetrating into each and every account. We had to start to our customers, we had to talk to our global teams and show our value proposition, not just in terms of the cost, but also in terms of the overall contribution, overall value. Right? Value need not always be the cost. So, and then the moment we started showing some of the productivity numbers, for example, some of the projects where we were doing office analytics, for example, right? And then we were actually showing much higher productivity when compared to our US counterparts and then our China counterparts and Singapore counterparts, right? And then we had to really do that, to get and then to get more work into India. So that is the kind of an approach we're taken. And the moment we spent about 5-6 months in doing this in 2019. So towards the end of 2018, Q3, end of 23 is when we established in India. But by the Q2 of 2019, when we established this, and then thereafter it became an automated process. We didn't have to pull anything. It was more like a push. Everybody started coming to us and said, hey, can you help me to build a team in India? So that was the kind of an approach that we took. And then eventually, by the time we closed in 2020, and then when the pandemic struck, so there's a lot of demand for people, and that story, and I don't have to tell you, right? And it was like exponential growth that we saw in those 1.5 years, wherein from a 500 we went up to about 1,300, 1,400 people across various spectrums, and that's how we had we had to go through that journey for about 2.5 years. But there's been a fascinating journey. At every stage, we knew where we are heading, and then we had a strategy in place in terms of how do we pull the work, and we work very closely with our global teams, and we knew what kind of an office space that we need to build, and what kind of talent that we need to acquire, and how do we position ourselves, and And then there were various factors that we had to, because it was not easy for us to attract the workforce as well. We had to adopt to various strategies in terms of, and create, and we were not, to be very honest, we are not exceptionally well in branding ourselves, right? So we are one notch below in terms of branding ourselves. But again, we felt that, rather than branding and going and then shouting in the market saying that, I'm this, I'm that. So let our employees speak for ourselves, right? Let the customers speak for ourselves. So, and let the work speak for itself. That's the kind of branding exercise that we took. We could have been more aggressive, but again, that's what we have done. And that's what actually helped us to a large extent, because we have, I would say, a relatively loyal customer employee base as well as the customer base, I would say, because of some of these, strategies that we adopted. And hopefully we will continue to do that and a little bit more aggressive in terms of branding and become, much more attractive to the marketplace. So
awesome.
I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. Thank you for.
I believe I had one question. Yajna had one question for me. Yes, Yajna, I believe normally when we think about a startup, it's always about you come up with an innovative product idea, make your prototypes, and then show it to your customers. And the way you build your business model is that's how it goes. But the kind of startup that we started back in 2018. We put ourselves in a sweet spot where when majority of startups, the small shops, they have a product and they try to adapt that product into your business. We positioned ourselves as builders of bespoke AI solutions for early stage companies where they would like to adapt AI. So prior to NovaIQ, the startup that I was heading, I was a solution architect. I was a director of solutions, and a few of my colleagues, whom I worked with, we are into the solution space. So the kind of experience that we have and the knowledge that we bring in from the AI world, we were the partners of companies where they want to adopt AI, but they don't know where to start. So we started from that kind of a consulting stage and then we handheld our customers. Okay, how do you spot the business opportunities consulting there? How do you ensure what kind of data requirements you think, what is your low hanging fruit? How should you build your roadmap for your AI adoption? And then build a solution for it. So we positioned ourselves in that kind of spot. And after that, when we got acquired by Factera Edge, it is the same thing in a bigger magnitude now, right? We started the deep learning capability. We started with 6 people, including me, and then now today we are about 30 core AI team, AI organization, and we have the expansion plan to about 100 people till the end of next year. So it kind of matched, and it's in the same vision. That's how we collaborated, and Factera Edge has much more enriched way of service offerings in the space of AI. Yeah, Anubhav, over to you.
We have our lightning pitches lined up right now. I'll ask Bhumi to call the startups one by one, and they can pitch. Over to you, Bhumi.
Thank you, Anubhav. Can we have Frinks first? Aditya, you can start and keep it for 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Very good evening. I'm Aditya Agrawal, co-founder and CEO of Frinks. And at Frinks, we are building a no-code vision AI platform to automate quality inspection in the manufacturing industry of all the types. Right. So over the last 2 years, when we started this company and had an opportunity to do an in-depth research about how the manufacturing industry operate, one thing we analyzed was that there's a long-standing problem of quality inspection which happens across the manufacturing landscape and is not limited to any one industry vertical. Around 10 million factories around the globe process quality inspection manually or use an age-old rule-based machine vision technology, which leads to product failures and recalls, up to 30% of the cost overruns and poor production throughput. At Frinks, we apply AI on video data of products captured from the production line to identify any kind of defects and anomalies in the product, so that the manufacturers can take the corrective measures right at the source itself and save the cost of rework. It's a complete vertically integrated solution and automated solution to process the quality inspection. Some of the key highlights of the technology. Firstly, we have built the foundation of the technology in such a way that it can function on low compute edge devices, eliminating the problem of data loss, bandwidth issues, and data security concerns as well, which especially happens in the large enterprises. We utilize AI over machine vision. Machine vision is a very age-old technology which has very limited capabilities and also doesn't perform really good analytics on a dynamic environment. On the other hand, our technology is much more flexible in terms of the environmental constraints and also provide better performance with a much wider range of applications. We have also kept the industrial environment in mind, ensuring that we deliver the kind of speed required to automate the quality inspection of fast-moving mass manufactured products and deliver the kind of accuracies desired for the technology to function in the industrial environment where you may have low light or disorientation or a dusty or a hazy environment. Right now, what we have is a low-code version of our technology, and we are in the process of building the no-code, which will be a complete self-configurable platform functioning on the basic building blocks of quality inspection, which an enterprise client can configure themselves and start automating the quality inspection in their production line. In our current low-code version, we require 90% less data point than a traditional deep learning model to train our algorithm and deploy at the client location, which ensures the lowest turnaround time and faster adoption. So these are some of the clients that we are currently working with and we have partnered with. This is our team. So our core team comes from IIT Hyderabad, and our technical co-founder has done masters in AI from IIT Hyderabad with 6 years of experience in the field of deep learning. He also holds a patent and have more than 12 research publications in his name. We have some of the investors and advisors from the industry backing us, like CXOs of Tata Groups and a few more. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya. Next, we have Mandeep from Project Zil.
My name is Mandeep Sharma. I'm founder of Project Zil Technologies Private Limited. We started this company to solve the key problem of manufacturing businesses, which is revenue losses due to production downtime and supply chain downtime. If we talk specifically, production losses due to frequent electrical machine breakdowns due to high movement of control cables, long troubleshooting time, lack of flexibility in the manufacturing processes or in supply chain processes, and industrial accidents as well. It's estimated by many global sources that each manufacturing industry faces production down on average 800 hours each per year, which costs significantly to them. It could go up to $22,000 per minute as well for kind of like Fortune 500 companies. To counter these problems, we introduced our deep tech industrial grade wireless products. With our own hardware and software, we are able to provide solutions to those problems with our wearable, non-wearable, and machine-to-machine communication modules. We will remove 90% of the control cables from all machines in the next 5 years. With our existing technology, we are now able to provide alternate for 70% of the control cables used in the manufacturing industry in kind of special purpose machines to connect different sensors to the PLC like machine controllers. Again, we can circle back to this slide to understand the detailed features of our products. I have these videos available right now, which can show you our product journey from early stage to the current stage as working MVP. In this video, we have completely removed 100% control wires to check our peak performance of our products.
Mandeep, you have 30 seconds remaining.
Yes, sure. We are currently working with Hero MotoCorp, Maruti Suzuki, and some machine manufacturers with paid POC. If we talk about target segments, we have categorized them in 2 categories: consumer product manufacturers with mass production capabilities like Fortune 500 companies, and OEMs for those manufacturers. We have total addressable market worth $272 billion globally. And right now we are selling hardware units only with upfront payment. But in our upcoming versions, we will be able to introduce subscription model as well. Our key USP is that our products will bring permanent behavioral change in the manufacturing industry for solving the problem which we are trying to solve. Till now, with the CI support of their AIR program and Avishkar program, we have reached all our milestones before time, and we are now at MVP stage. We believe with further support, we can establish a global Indian tech brand with its own made in India hardware and software. And thank you very much for listening. I'm glad and thankful for this opportunity to present our vision in front of you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Pradyum from Norway Avenue.
So here what we bring is the navigation intelligence to optimize the route. Let's take a very simple example. You're coming to your office today, and in the morning you're using a simple map system which is with you. Now, once you're riding your car and you just mention the place, you take that route which has been provided to you, and you realize that okay, there was a barricade, you cannot cross that route. Now, after once you took another route, you find that oh, there was a waterlogging, you cannot take that route because as the rainy season is going on. And somehow, after taking multiple routes, you get to your office today. But what we do is we just bring you all these points onto the navigation system or maybe the infotainment system present inside your cars or maybe on the phone. We provide all these points directly onto the map system which is there. So what we right now do is that we are bringing this technology into the OEM sector. We are already providing in the MG cars. We are bringing this thing in the Maruti Suzuki and the Nissan right now. In the last mile delivery, we are trying to reduce the time through which every order that comes up. So for example, the 10-minute delivery system which is coming up, we're trying to save a minute into this by providing all the points upfront to the driver before taking that route. In the large logistics system, we are bringing with IHMCL and the intelligent transportation of the highways by marking all these points directly so that those transit and the routes could be optimized. Also, our customer not only purchase a real-time data, but they're also purchasing a yearly data. So for example, insurance companies look for a 365-day data in a way that they want to make a real-time price negotiation at that moment. So we are also having some potential customers on which we are talking to them right now. So how we work is that, on the ground, we run a lot of fleets. So for example, right now in Delhi, we're running around 30 to 40 fleets. We're expanding up to 500 fleets. We have built an engine on which we, from the imaging data that we have, we take that imaging and we just take out on the main points, safety, security, and the mobility points. Right now, we are only providing this entire technology on the mobility sector for safety and security purposes. We are a team of 5 people in which Paras and Pradeep handles the sales and operations segment, and technology is handled by Shreyansh and Satyam.
Next, we have Yagna from Spatial Guide.
So we are building a mobile application that will help manufacturers and value-added resellers to create their own augmented reality service manuals. Both Akhil and I, we in our past consulting jobs, we created products for customer relationship management and augmented reality AR apps, mobile apps. And during the pandemic, we realized that there is an acute need for user manuals, SOPs, and troubleshooting guides for medical devices. And when we researched further, we realized that not just medical devices industry, but like a lot of other manufacturing industries have this need. So that's when we started thinking about the whole idea of spatial guide. So and that's when we thought about building something that a manufacturer can use to create a guide in minutes and then like almost publish instantly.
So as a first step, we started by building out an augmented reality application to fill this need. Our application is very easy to use, and it basically helps you to train your retiring workforce, helps you to train new employees, and also it rewards super users that act as extended field service. So we want to be building a business that basically nurtures self-service communities and also helps connect manufacturers with end users using spatial guides technology products.
So we see this to be $800 million business for us. Like at least the service obtainable market is 800 million in the US per annum. And this, this correlation is also backed by like leading analysts like Gartner and also from the Deloitte Snap survey. And we see that 75% capital intensive industries will adopt augmented reality in the next 2 to 3 years. Both Akhil and I have relevant experience in this area of building mobile AR applications and enterprise systems. We are partnering with Professor Avinash Sharma on the R&D side and Senthil as a strategic advisor. There is some competition in this area, but they are primarily focused on enterprise AR and from a competition perspective, they use algorithms which would take a few hours to create an AR kind of manual, and we are looking at our application solving it in minutes and potentially less than a minute.
So, Surya, why don't we take a minute and introduce our program also, so that startups get little, what we are trying to achieve together with these startups, and what kind of benefits and what kind of support they will get from this program. So, post that we can again continue with the pitching.
Let me take a quick minute to introduce the problem statements that we are looking, to partner with the cohort of startups. Primarily, we build bespoke AI solutions for our customers, and predominantly we play in the area of retail, CPG, and logistics domains. And we actually invest in innovation to help our customers, and we build near-ready solutions for our customers so that it can fit and add business value to them. So in pursuit of these things, when we are building the near-ready platforms, there is a common multiple of AI technology components, especially in the computer vision standpoint, with respect to retail and manufacturing industries, which we would like to understand. And these are the problem statements that we are presenting, and that's where we are looking to collaborate with startups, which are closer to this and have higher adjacency with this. So the first one is the human activity recognition. Definitely, we were talking about multiple use cases. What happens? How do you identify somebody's going around, understand what they are doing, to look at behavior analytics. So detecting the multiple activities that are being done by people, the human activity recognition, which has the subcomponents: human detection, human action detection, and what exactly, which area they are into, segmentation part of it, whether they are in a no entry zone, or whether they are actually carrying something harmful. These are the few cases where we would like to understand, and the primary aspect of computer vision there is human activity recognition, the HAR. And the second one is specific to the manufacturing industry, in the space of primarily in the space of quality check, where how do we use computer vision to do the quality check, to examine the product that is built, especially how do you see whether let's say, for example, there is a machine which slices meat loaves. What is the exact shape that is coming out normally, which is done by manual visual inspection? How we can use computer vision for that? Let's say, for example, I am in an industry where the electronic boards are manufactured. How we can identify the missing parts, if there are misplaced parts in that, or there is distortions which could be causing defects in the product. Cracks in the industry machinery, if you are actually dealing with heavy machinery, which will give an early indication of a requirement for a repair or an attention on that. Workplace safety, especially in the manufacturing plant area or warehouse areas, where there is something spillage, some dangerous thing is there, or the safety equipment is not put on by the personnel. Or if you look at the retail stores, if there is some spillage or an open refrigerator door in a refrigerated section. So these are the things. So the primary problem statements that we put across is the human activity recognition and using computer vision for object inspection in the manufacturing area. Over to you, Bhumi. We can continue with the pitches.
Good evening, everyone. So we, Nexmatics, are India's first AI-based real-time location system. So based out of ultra-wideband technology, which provides business results for manufacturers, industries, warehouse, distributors, and many more people. So what we basically do is track, assess, and monitor less than 10 centimeters. So as you can see from the picture, starting from raw material to end product, we have several different processes. As a fact, 65% of manufacturing industries have low efficiencies out of these common 5 problems: asset loss and displacement, lack of utilization monitoring, excess production and monitor conditions, and safety, security, and compliance. So we solve all these pain points through giving a real-time visibility, which offers a production overview, resource allocation, indoor navigation, maintenance alerts, geofencing, efficiency monitoring, which intends to provide a zero defect and zero effect manufacturing. So our products are for tax for people, forklifts, immovable assets, and movable assets, which are showing data on RTLS Studio, which is our own AI-based systems. So how we do it is basically like tags are attached to the parts of our assets, which communicate through anchors, which relay the data through user platform. In terms of use cases, we specialize in material flow analysis, which in turn to provide a higher quality of production for employee tracking, for overall safety and security of employees, for forklift, for navigations, also fleet tracking also. So as from our one of our pilot projects, replacing our existing system, so we reduced the inventory time by 22.93% with an increase of 38.7% of in terms of production efficiency, providing an overall safety with 43% increase. So in terms of cost and battery life, we come at a low cost of 1,350 per tag with a 3+ years battery life with one-time charge. So we have 13 national clients and 7 global clients. We have been showing a 20x growth in past 15 months. Then this particular year, we have in first quarter sales of 1.3 CR and second quarter moving to 8 CR. We have also started servicing in coal mines in Telangana district. So we are a team of 9+ engineers from Vellore VIT with 4 mentors from DRDO and top MNCs specialized in technology, strategy, and finance. Thank you.
Can we have NeuroPixel next?
So my name is Arvind. I started up with about 10 years of work experience across consulting and fashion e-commerce. Most recently, I was working on growth at Myntra for 3 years. My co-founder and the brains behind NeuroPixel, our CTO, has done his PhD from the IISc, specializing in applied machine learning in the field of image processing. What we are is an 18-month-old deep tech startup at the intersection of fashion e-commerce and computer vision. We broadly do 2 things. We generate completely synthetic models that you can't tell apart from real people, and we enable our customers to shoot any apparel on a mannequin and then generate high-quality catalog images with just a mannequin shoot, right? So it's one of the most manual, repetitive processes in the world of e-commerce, and that's really what we're trying to solve. So I just have a quick 1-minute demo over here. What we're looking at over here is the first step in the process when we generate completely artificial synthetic models. So as you can see, we're generating these, and you can pause it at any particular frame number and export this into our second algorithm, where you can optimize certain features. We can isolate certain features and optimize them, right? So in this way, you can create some macro attributes like ethnicity, size, etc. And then I'm going to take you to our second model where you can customize certain attributes. I'm just going to press play here, and I want you to watch what happens to her. I'm so sorry, I was speaking. Yeah, so what we have over here is we've isolated one particular expression, and then we're allowing you to manipulate that independently. The intensity of a smile is changing over the next 20 seconds. She started off with a very serious face. Gradually, she will end up with an extremely smiling face. So imagine a bunch of sliders where you can control certain attributes like your skin tone, your facial expression, etc. This is the last 30 seconds of the demo, where what we've done is put 300 models and 300 clothes together, all different poses, slightly different size models. Our algorithm takes about 0.2 seconds to run. And what you see over here is a high resolution output of it. This is a beta version. We still have certain limitations, like we can only do front views, we can't do side views as well. Those are limitations of the data set, but what we've proven is that the algorithm works. That's it for me, Bhuvika. I hope to hear from you and take this forward later.
Can we have Kirti from Charm Technologies next?
So I'm Kirti from Karpine Technologies. It's an industrial vision and automation company. It's a 1-year-old company based in Hyderabad. So we at Karpine Technologies, we plan to provide vision automation solutions to customers in mass manufacturing areas like automotive, injection molding, healthcare, packaging, breweries, etc. So utilizing the latest technologies and algorithms from artificial intelligence and machine vision, we plan to deliver integrated plug-in type solutions that are tailor-made for the customer needs. Some of the typical pre-built solutions are ready to be deployed. So they contain a dedicated camera system, processor, and mechatronics components, which are all integrated to a PLC module. So some of the solutions we offer, text detection or scratches on a metal piece, or missing components of the PCB, or expiry date inspection, plastic defect inspection, etc. And here's a small video of our recent application. So this is for a Imami group. So we are aligning the bowl feeder. So all the tabs are led onto the conveyor belt where the inspection takes place. So here you can see the camera and the illumination setup, which is used to inspect the components. So this machine can run up to 400 parts per minute. And then it is trained to identify and sort about 40 different kinds of defects. So these are a couple of the rejective caps. So the good parts and the defective parts are automatically separated and they're recycled later. So the innovation of this particular machine is its in-mold inspection and 360 degrees image formation and the data-driven optimization. So these are few of our clients. Thank you.
Next, can we have Anukul from GoTo Spares?
Yeah, so hi everyone, this is Anukul here. I'm the founder of GoTo Spares. So I quickly give you a background about my startup. So at GoTo Spares, our vision is to work towards organizing the unstructured B2B market of auto parts distribution in India. The current supply chain suffers from highly unorganized and fragmented buying patterns, which has led to significant inefficiencies in the supply chain, like distribution of counterfeit products, tackling compliances, and evasion of taxes like GST at multiple fronts in the supply chain. I would like to highlight few issues at the retailer level. So retailer who comes on the customer side of the supply chain suffers from issues like having no visibility on sourcing. They tend to face high variance in pricing given there are multiple suppliers for the single product category. Then retailers tend to deal with multiple vendors on a daily basis. In some cases, it is up to 50 plus suppliers on a daily basis, given the enormous product categories and range that exist in the industry. So overall, it leads to a lot of issues for the retailer to manage the business on a daily basis. Similarly, on the manufacturing side, the manufacturer tend to face issues like having no visibility in terms of the stock positions which are there in the supply chain. They tend to get no feedback from the customers in tend to so whatever they make and sell. So this leads to further issues of it makes it difficult for the manufacturer to gauge the exact demand and the interest of customers on the various products that they make, and this leads to a lot of wastage of resources in the supply chain. Now coming to our proposal, so we aim to solve all these issues by becoming a one-stop shop online platform. So complete product range will be displayed, mapped across different product categories and brands. So our aim is to not only make procurement and consumption effortless for the different customers that we will have, but also we are working on different analytical modules which will be based on AI and ML to cater their needs in a better way. So like to give you an example, like inventory management modules and QR code based solutions to make sure that, so to give an example, this industry, about 20% of the parts which any retailer has, or the customer purchases, there is a good probability of being fake or duplicate. So having solutions to make sure that whatever products which are there in the supply chain are genuine is going to be our try. So overall, our try is to make it a better place for all the stakeholders, be it from the manufacturer to the retailer who are there in the supply chain. Talking about the market opportunity that we see. So currently our first focus segment is two-wheeler, and that accounts for about $8 billion plus opportunity for us. Looking at digitalization in the auto parts market, then it stands about less than 2% at the moment. And even if we take modest assumptions of it reaching to say 5%, 6%, which is comparable to China, still it accounts for like about $400-500 million opportunity for us. So that's it from my side.
Can we have Shrikant from Impact AI next?
Impact has recently launched a pilot of its AI ML powered interview bot, which analyzes sentiments from conversations during the interview process. We have all experienced this. What we believe we are seeing in a person is very different from what the person believes the person is portraying. And there is generally a gap. It may be a small gap, or it may be a large gap in many cases. And this becomes a profound problem, especially during the interview process. And this is made more difficult by what is very practical in humans. The abilities vary between the various recruiters, the experience levels, the emotional quotient levels. as well as the circumstantial bias of the interviewers influence the selection process or the screening mechanism. That's where, based on my 20 years of experience, both in the US as well as in India, I felt that AI/ML should be able to at least address, if not be the main decision maker, but at least help in screening the candidates, the job applicants. Capturing the positives and negatives, the highs and lows of people during the interview process can certainly be a very, very valuable input for the main recruiters. Initial screening of job applicants is the use case. And not only that, it also would help in training the interviewers. And I'm not just talking about the HR interviewers, but also the business team people who are interviewing the candidates. It can also help the organizations train them while screening the candidates and giving feedback on them. Why is this very relevant now? Given the high rate of resignations all across the world, the pressure on the recruiters is extremely high. Any organization, whether it's in the Western world or in India, if you talk to the HR teams, they're all backed up. I know a company here in India, in Hyderabad, who has about 50 recruiters, but at any given point of time, they have 100 positions vacant. That's the reality on the ground. Finding the good fit of employees has never been a greater issue, especially when there is hybrid model of working. Understanding the person at the time of intake becomes even more of a bigger challenge. Like I mentioned earlier, we have launched the pilot, and many of the interviews are being done, have been recorded by real candidates into our program, and the accuracy level has come to about 0.7 in our bot. I'm like I mentioned earlier, I'm a 20 years old experienced corporate professional. Basically a chartered accountant, but worked in various industries, including finance, banking, and manufacturing. My team lead, another person, is Mr. Krishna Rao, who comes with a lot of HR experience, especially in recruitment, training, and development. And he has in the past headed large organizations HR practice in India as well as in China. Thank you everyone for your time.
Can we have Chaitanya from Perspective Analytics next?
Yeah, hi. This is Chaitanya from Perceptive Analytics. We are actually a data analytics company. We work in AI/ML and BI. So this is a tool that we have developed, and we would like to sort of show it to you. So the problem that we are addressing is to detect a product, a known product, in an image or a video. Okay. And that's because there are use cases like automated billing or stock taking and the delivery audit, right? Things like this. So this is what we are doing. And when we look at the state of the art, there are some issues that we have noticed. For example, if you have a crumpled product, then the algorithm would fail. Similarly, if the orientation is different, it would fail. Or if you have very similar looking products, for example, you can see there is this fog product which has just a dot that is different. The rest of the packaging is same. So in all these cases, it would fail. So what we have done is I'll only show you the demo of just the last one. We have solved all of these problems, but I'll just very quickly show you a demo, with the tool doing the right things. Let me just show it to you. Yep. So this is what we want to detect in all these. And this is the current tools failing. So here detected properly, and then it detects each of those products correctly. And here, these are different products, and all of these different products are detected correctly. So yeah, that is it from my side. Thank you for your time.
Can we have Shyam from Razor Ops next?
So mine is not pure AI kind of. So our product is which supports basically all your AI models and everything running on Docker and Kubernetes based. So our product is like, we have optimized our CI/CD solution for container native deployments. So we are like core of your all software development process from beginning to end, where we are introducing security also in each step, from code writing to the code deployment and moving to the container security on any cloud platform or any Kubernetes services. So this is our quick pitch, I will say. So most of the like people who adopt the automation, you can understand this is like one day, like if you have automation, you can push all the code changes very fast compared to the old style companies, which they takes like a sprint of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then deploy the codes. So here you can save a lot of time on deployments. So our things are very simple. So when like it's all developer tool, so you are a Git, you just put a Git automatic trigger happens. We do the builds, we run your pipeline as per your deployment steps, and then it deploys and get notified on any notification channel like Slack or Team or anywhere. So current market, so this is our current market size, which we are pitching for. CI/CD tools, basically market size. There are few customers, and then the few quick features like Docker native. By default, we are giving the solution for a Docker native kind of things. Better pipelines, so you can adopt any kind of pipeline, automation pipeline for a deployment steps. Kubernetes support by default means it's like a native support we are providing. And main competitors, I can say like Amazon Code Builds or Jenkins, which people mostly use these days. So we try to like get audience from them. And if say Jenkins and also these things are comparisons, I can say here. So Jenkins give by default CI tool, CD tool. If you want, you need to put some another basically tools to achieve it. But with us, we give CI/CD both together. So few competitors, direct competitors, Circle CI, Travis, GitHub Actions, because these are cloud-based, and then few on-prem kind of Jenkins, TeamCity, and Drone CI. Plan and pricing, we are SaaS solution. So anything, even provide free of cost. Any of the startup want to start, they can try free of forever kind of with the low capacity builds. And with the team, I'm founder and CEO here. Dinesh is from IIIT Hyderabad and few other IIIT Hyderabad guys. We are from, we started our journey from CI, then moved to TF, and right now also we are in TF. So that's what I just want to tell. Thank you very much.
Can we have Krishna from Karpine Technologies next?
Yeah, good evening, folks. I'm Krishna from Karpine Technologies, and I have done my master's in quantum computing and cryptography from UK in 2002. And I have Vamsi, who's a BITS alumnus. He looks after the marketing and other stuff, and I'm the tech founder. And this is our second startup. From 2010 to 2020, we had an e-com startup, which has clocked closer to $4 million in revenue. And currently, we are trying to address the problems with supply chain post-COVID, which the entire world has been seeing. So basically, we are trying to see that there is a bridge between the physical and digital worlds. There is a product, there is an ERP. So how does these two match? Karpine has been a part of several reputed accelerators in the past 1 year. The problem we see today with the supply chains is data in the supply chains, they are stored in silos. So there is storage of data, there is goods sitting in the warehouses. But the bigger problem comes wherein all the tracking happens per order. So when you talk about an order, it's more of group of items and there is no individual journey of the product that is happening. And what Karpine provides is a combination of QR codes, RFID, and BLE technologies combined with blockchain. So we have built a solution for one of the major German fashion retailer. And what we realized was these solutions work well at certain extent. But when it has to be into a production environment, when these have to be scaled up, we need better technologies. And that's where we started integrating cognitive skills like automatic product recognition so that the process becomes automated and scales. So how it works, the solution is straightforward. So we create a digital tin for each and every product that is present in the warehouse, and then stick the smart label and then start tracking as and when it moves. So we use RFID or BLE readers for automating this process. So one of the major problems for adoption of blockchain is it comes with $500,000 TCO. So we have built a simple API-based solution wherein people can pay one rupee for each product that is tracked and just forget about the infrastructure. One of the use cases, we have built an unmanned checkout for the German retailer. So this is where we are using cognitive skills to recognize the face. That is one part. And there is an automated kiosk. Currently, the solution is RFID based. Since it is not scalable, it's just bunch of goods you can take to the RFID reader and read it. So we are trying to get in some cognitive skills here. Automated inventory take and audit. This happen on the system. So we are building, since we are a blockchain first startup, so we are bringing in the aspects of Web3 as well, being a decentralized semantic web where machines read and then talk to the machines, and then equitable, so that everybody gets an equal opportunity irrespective of what they do. That's it from my side. Thank you guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
We have our last startup, Trimmed. Ashwin, you can present your screen.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashwin, founder of Trimmed. So what is Trimmed? Trimmed is a live analytics app using which any consumer can see real-time crowd status of essential places like doctors' clinics, scan centers, saloons, or be it any place. So what do we want to achieve by this? People can see the real-time occupancy and they can plan their visits accordingly to these places. Thereby, we can see unproductive waiting time spent at each of these places, and we can finish our consultations at the stipulated time. Apart from seeing the live analytics, we also track the delays that happen in every appointment. So what happens with this? We track the delays and intimate the delays to the future users so that they can get the rescheduled timing. By doing so, again, they would not come and wait at these places. Instead, they would be able to meet the doctor or their service at the prescribed time. So how do we do it? We don't use any hardware for this. We have created our own internal positioning system algorithm, using which we would be able to track the entry and exit of customers in any of these places. All we want is the businesses to be a partner of Trimmed so that we can install our application and we would be able to do the tracking by ourselves. And currently, we are beta testing this idea with 15 doctors, and we are able to see good results out of this application. And once this is done, we would be releasing it for the commercial access for users who can start accessing the Trimmed application from the Play Store or App Store for their required usage. Thank you.
I would like Anubhav to give the closing note now.
Thank you to all the startup founders. Thank you for your amazing solutions that you people are developing. We are Dinesh. There is a hand raise from your side. You want to speak something? For that, I was just thanking people. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks all the startups for taking time to give us a pitch actually. And we are very excited to see the kind of talent we have. And one thing which I want to mention is that we are proactively looking to work with all the startups. So I will share our mail ID, which you can reach out to us. And definitely this is much focused today is more on the computer vision, but we are also open to work with multiple other startups which are in different technologies, especially Web 3.0 metaverse is something is also which you are looking at. And there is a grant, right? For this cohort, we have a stipulated grant, which is also mentioned in the promos. But in addition to that, we are more than happy to encourage as many startups possible. Thanks.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you all. Thank you, Surya, for that amazing panel discussion. Mr. Narayan Murthy taking time out and giving us a detailed overview of Pactera and its vision to innovate. So that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. We are looking forward to have some interesting startups in the cohort and leaders like Dinesh, Prabha from Triple IT side, Ramesh, and all. We will be there to support your. A big shout out to Uday, who's from Pactera side, is coordinating Bhumi and Anupam, all of you. Thank you so much for organizing this. This was a good connect with the ecosystem after long, where we are having a focused connect through a program-based approach. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anubhav.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all the startups.
Thank you, Prabha.
Great work.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, everyone.
everyone. It's truly an honor to welcome all of you on such an enlightening event. I'm Niharika Nayak from TKR College of Engineering and Technology.
And this is Balasai Aditya Nayak from TKR Krishna Reddy Engineering College. This event is going to be a blessed one with the presence of so many honorable dignitaries.
This program is being live telecast.
Good morning, everyone. This is Neha from third year EC department of TKR Krishna Reddy Engineering College. A very warm welcome to all the dignitaries and audience assembled here. It is immense pleasure that we announce the commencement of e-Yatra and ignition of the flame of entrepreneurship from the campus of TKR Group of Institutions. To be honored that this event, with the brainchild of the Technology Hub in collaboration with Ecosystem Enabler Task, is going to be formally inaugurated by our Chief Guest, Dr. Anita Reddy Garu, Jilla Parishad Chairperson of Rangareddy District, Amay Kumar Person, IAS District Collector and Magistrate of Rangareddy District, and Mrs. Ruby Akluri, Program Manager, CIMA. To begin our speech with a famous quote made by Sir Albert Einstein. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Friends, to learn new things, we need to be passionately curious. Some of the greatest inventions of all times is the wheel, the compass, the telephone, light bulb, pencil. The printing press came into existence as with the support of other ecosystems, enablers like TSIC, T-Work, VHub, TASK. It shares knowledge and resources. During 2021, the Technology Hub has welcomed 533 startups to innovation ecosystem and introduced unique programs with a special focus on 6 M's: market access, money, mentorship, methodologies, manpower, and motivation. The state government of Telangana has also conceptualized and initiated the Telangana Academy of Skills and Knowledge to equip engineering towards making Hyderabad the innovation capital of the country. As CEO of TASK, Sri Srikanth Sinha has facilitated more incubators, government agencies, the student communities empowered to accelerate startup initiatives. Friends, we need to be extremely grateful to our state government and Chief Minister Sri KCR Garu and Sri KCR Garu for providing us such an internationally acclaimed infrastructure and ecosystem that will transform our physically, intellectually, and ethically into the worldwide citizens of our state and our nation. Success does not come down to us. We need to rise to achieve success. God provides every bird with food, but does not give it in its nest. We hope you have understood that what the saying means. To get this spoon-fed lifelong, you need to train yourself to be self-reliant. The government is providing a wonderful opportunities to nurture our skills to collaborate with nation and global agencies. So it's imperative that we study and work with zest, enthusiasm, and lethargy, and no lazy.
On stage.
I consider it to be an honor to invite Srimati Dr. Anita Reddy Garu, ZP Chairman, Rangareddy District, as the Chief Guest. Srimati Anita Reddy Garu, our ZP Chairman, has been an outstanding track record as an efficient administrator and a doctor. She has been working relentlessly for women empowerment and upliftment. She is an excellent communicator by the help